this is Erika with Beyond 20. Today we're going to talk about what is ITIL and what is ITSM. What's the difference between these acronyms? What do they mean in the first place? And why should you care? So let's get started. The first acronym we're going to talk about is ITIL. This stands for the Information Technology Infrastructure Library. So a lot of words, the key word being that of library. It's really just a set of books. So let's talk about what IT Service Management is. ITSM stands for IT Service Management. That is the subject, or that is the focus of the ITIL book. So what that means is it's all about figuring out how do we develop our organizational capabilities so that we provide really good services that bring value to our customers. So when you think about it, ITIL really is just a set of books. What's in the books is all about IT service management, and this is what we as an organization strive to practice. So where did all this stuff come from? The ITIL books actually came out of the UK in the 1980s when the IT department of the British government was really struggling in providing IT services to its customers. And so what the British government did is they said, surely somebody in the world has this figured out, let's go and ask them. And so they basically did the largest collection of lessons learned in IT. They looked at 2,500 different organizations worldwide, large organizations, small, public sector, private sector, across all industries, and came back with 40 volumes of information. And that was the first volume of the ITIL books. And throughout the years, the ITIL books have been updated. And they have multiple versions. The current version of the ITIL books has 26 processes within it. Some of them are minor processes, some of them are major processes. You guys might be familiar with some of the processes that are talked about in the ITIL books. Things like change management. How do we manage change in a complex environment? How do we manage all of our assets? That's a process called service asset and configuration management. There's one called service level management that's all about how do we put good SLAs in place with our customers. So lots and lots of great information within the ITIL books. So why do we care about processes in the first place? Well, there was a research study done a few years ago where they looked at when mission critical systems and organizations fail, what the root cause was. And they found that actually only 20% of the time it's due to failure in things like software and hardware. So this dark little space up here at the top. Actually 80% of the time when they looked at when mission critical systems and organizations fail, what that root cause was, they found that it was due to failure in people and failure in process. So if we can fix the people and the process stuff, we can make huge strides as an IT organization. Why is that important? Well, because customers expect consistency. You know, you go to a place like Starbucks because you get the same cup of coffee, your favorite kind, day in and day out. And when we're not consistent, when we don't have really good processes in place, then we end up with subpar products and services and inconsistency and unhappy customers ultimately. Another reason that is important is because a lot of times what works as a really small organization, as we scale, does not work any longer as a large organization. So, you know, not having good processes in place or not having consistent processes or documentation around those processes might work really well when we're a small team, but as we scale, it becomes very, very difficult to do. Now, with that said, you want to be careful about how you put processes in place. You want just enough for the size and the maturity of the organization. You don't want to go to the opposite end of the spectrum and have so much process in place that it becomes bureaucratic. But having the right amount of processes, really good processes in place, will help us better scale and get out of our own way as an organization. And last but not least, in IT, we are constantly inundated with requests, with incidents, with problems, you know, with things breaking, with people asking for more things. We're also asked to do more with less. And if we don't have good processes for how to handle all of those things, this becomes much, much harder to do so. So that's just a little snippet around ITIL and IT Service Management. For more questions and to learn more, come to beyond20.com.